Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. The reports of William Ruto's plan to drop Kithure Kindiki as the running mate in 2027, as he favors Kalonzo Musyoka for that slot, has sparked a disquiet within the ruling party, as a section of Mount Kenya UDA MPs are now looking at their narrow chances of survival against Rigathi Gachagwa's onslaught in 2027. And in this podcast, we are going to break down that move, what exactly is the position of Kalonzo, and why these MPs have actually lost it. And William Ruto, of course, denying them the running mate slot is actually a chance of survival. Just before that, I want to humbly request us to support this boy, Willis. Willis is currently at Eldoret Hospital. This boy has a rare condition that started as a hernia, but it developed, affected one of the testes, and at the moment, what was established in the hospital is that he has a mass. Now, that mass is in the stomach, and that is what has caused the protrusion of that stomach. Now, so what is supposed to undergo is an urgent surgery that is supposed to be done so that his health can be rescued. And that is why I'm reaching on behalf of this boy. What tunasema kidogo kidogo hujaza kibaba. I actually sent my team there. They've been able to have a sit down and establish that, of course, with a very good medical care, the chances of survival for baby Willis are there. Of course, I understand even the parent had actually lost hope, but even when we spoke to the doctors, they are very optimistic that it is still at an early stage, and this is something that if the surgery is done with the right procedure, of course, he can be rescued from that condition. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's support. One thing I've been told that it has brought for him breathing problems, pain during short calls, and the swelling is both in the stomach, the leg, and even the face. So it is difficult. The boy is really in pain, that would have been told, but this is a condition that can be addressed with right medication. We really want to stand with this family. I think my deficit so far is around 82,000. I believe that by tomorrow, on Thursday tomorrow, when we are supposed to finish this fundraiser, we shall have supported the family as we walk the journey of recovery with baby Willie. So kindly subscribe and kindly support this. Now, UDA MPs are worried about a presidential ticket in 2027 with William Ruto picking a running mate outside the Mount Kenya region. And I think this is a fair share of what they planted. Last year in October, when I was analyzing Rigathi Gachagua impeachment, there is something I kept on saying, that it is a blunder for these MPs who are cheering removal of Rigathi. Because number one, they have reduced the influence of that position. And I can tell you that the dominant narrative after Rigathi Gachagua was moved, people were very angry and they said, we don't want even the running mate position. We don't want the running mate slot. And just through that, they have cheapened their bargain. And I want to repeat this. The Shungwas, the Waigurus, the Sabina Shege, the Mwangi Kinjuris, and a clique of these MPs that coalesce around William Ruto, they are the ones that have cheapened the bargain for Mount Kenya vote. Someone might even think you can also argue on Rigathi Gachagua growing influence. But I will also show you how these MPs have cheapened that influence. Ruto's plan B of getting, UDA got 87% of the vote in Mount Kenya, sweeping majority of the seats all the way from the MCAs to the governors, MPs and senators. And this thing, the tide seemed to have changed. And President Ruto's plan A of getting 50%, plan B rather, of getting 50% of Mount Kenya vote is slowly slipping away. It is proving to be a challenge. And I want to give you an example. There were 9 candidates who were lined up for Mbere by-election. I think it's Mbere North by-election, where after Ruku was appointed to the cabinet. Now, those 9 candidates were brought together in a hotel in Naivasha. And they were told that they must come up with one candidate, as UDA was avoiding any sort of nomination or handpicking. There's a candidate who was picked there. I got the name. There's a candidate who was picked, someone called Madenge, if I'm not wrong, who was actually picked for this ticket. The report is, so all the others have actually vouched to pick other tickets and defy the UDA party position so that watu wakutane debeni. So bad. It can tell you how the influence has reduced. Planned town hall meetings immediately Rigathi Gachagua flew out of the country. There were planned town hall meetings with the UDA leaders to try to talk back the region under William Ruto's sleeves. And the meeting that was convened in Naivasha to plot on that seemed not to have materialized. And days after Rigathi Gachagua went, not so much has happened. And I want to tell you what is actually worrying them. The reports of Kalonzo that William Ruto sent emissaries to Kalonzo Musyoka to take the running mate slot sent shivers, as the position of running mate is now coming clearly. It is not yet reserved. It has not yet been reserved for Kithure Kindiki. And that is why William Ruto avoids public appearance with Kindiki, especially ikawa anaongea na wananchi. And this is a snippet of the Kenyan story.
ATN inaweza kuthibitisha kuwa serikali ya Kenya Kwanza inayoongozwa na Rais William Ruto imekuwa ikitumia wajumbe kwa viongozi ama ikituma wajumbe kwa kiongozi wa chama cha Wiper Kalonzo Musyoka ili kumshawishi ajiunge na muungano wa Kenya Kwanza kuelekea uchaguzi mkuu wa mwaka 2027. Kalonzo Musyoka ambaye amesalia upande wa upinzani tangu kuundwa kwa serikali pana ya muungano huo, ameahidiwa kuwa mgombea mwenza wa Rais William Ruto katika uchaguzi mkuu ujao. Na kama anavyoripoti mwanahabari wetu wa masuala ya kisiasa Chris Tairu, jaribio kuu linalomkabili Rais William Ruto anapotafuta muhula wa pili ni uchaguzi wa mgombea mwenza, huku wachambuzi wa kisiasa wakidai kuwa naibu rais sasa Profesa Kithure Kindiki atawekwa kando na Rais William Ruto akiwa analazimika kumchagua mgombea mwenza kutoka maeneo ya Magharibi au Nyanza.
Now, since this story was published by the Standard team, within a span of 10 days, 2 stories emerged. The fact, before this one, there was a first one that opposition had settled on Kalonzo Musyoka. And that was a leakage. That was actually a leakage. And you could see, and according to reports here is, apart from offering Kalonzo Musyoka the running mate position, the power sharing deal is reported to be an elaborate document also putting down how cabinet secretaries are going to be picked, or how Kalonzo Musyoka's Wiper party is going to benefit, and also Ukambani region benefiting from this kind of arrangement. So it is not just about it. And let me tell you, in politics, things are not just said. 2 observations I want us to make. Martha Karua complained that indeed there are people or there are politicians in their camp who are leaking secrets to the media.
And also caution those among our ranks to stop leaking things that have not been agreed, lineups. I'm seeing a lineup. If any proposals by our technical team has not been debated by the principals, it is not a truth. If there are such proposals, and I wouldn't know because nothing has been tabled, to stop giving people positions and all that, to just leave it, to leave the process, you know. But yes, we can be organized, and we are organizing ourselves. And like I've said, even if Ruto and his household are the commissioners, this time round, we will get you out.
I can tell you, without fear of contradiction, the people who leaked the report that was published was favoring Kalonzo Musyoka as the preferred candidate for the opposition. Not a single member of parliament, nor Kalonzo Musyoka himself, has disowned the report that was published by Kenyan. Those two reports, the first one of him being picked as the running mate, and the second one actually also being picked, the first one of the opposition settling on him as the presidential candidate, and the second one that William Ruto is vouching for him to be the running mate and has sent emissaries. Not a single member of parliament, nor Kalonzo Musyoka himself, has refuted those claims. Yes. So, and I think in my analysis, I always say that if there is a politician that William Ruto will try to look for, that man is Kalonzo Musyoka. And it's due to these numbers. You look at Raila Odinga, is now shaky. You cannot guarantee, you cannot, on Raila, he knows that if you take Kalonzo, probably a section of ODM will rebel and leave the BBG, and then he will remain with Opiyo Wandayi and John Mbadi, open some bank, give them all the money they need, so that he uses them to get a chunk of the Luo vote. And then get to Kambani, give them the running mate, and take the Kamba vote, which will slightly eat into Nairobi vote and Mombasa vote. And then try to bank on Kindiki, Ishungwa, and some few allies in Mount Kenya to get the percentage they can get. So this is something that is going on, and it's taking serious take. And during the opposition rallies that have been going on, of course, we don't see Karua, we don't see the principals, but the MPs have been running rallies, and Kalonzo Musyoka MPs have been missing in that. So, it has not yet been confirmed about the move for Kalonzo to join William Ruto, but it is an undeniable fact that the William Ruto, the president, is looking for Kalonzo as his running mate. I want to say this. Kithure Kindiki and the cheering MPs who cheered regarding Gachagua impeachment have all themselves to blame if this happens. And this is why I feel they dug their own hole. They're the ones who dug it. Twice, I have seen MPs from Western Kenya. One is a prominent leader. This is Waluhe. Waluhe, who was charged of some corruption charges, and is the chairman of Western MPs Caucus, and Beatrice Elachi, in separate occasions, were actually filmed running vitriol rhetoric against Kikuyu community.
Iko kabila moja hapa Kenya ambaye kazi yao wamependa uongozi sana kuliko kabila zingine zote. Na wakati imefika sisi makabila zingine tunataka hata sisi kuongoza nchi hii. Si kusema eti kabila moja wakiwa urais, tena wakikosa wako makamu wa rais, wakikosa wako rais, wakikosa wanarudia makamu wa rais. Hapana. Kabila zingine we want to share the national cake, kuanzia Mturukana, Mumaasai, mtu kutoka Taveta kama huyu engineer ambaye amekuwa hapa. Mkiriama, Muluya, Mchaluo na Mkisii, kabila zote. Sio ati uongozi inaenda tu kabila moja, hapana. Na tunataka mabadiliko, na ndio tunaambia hata mheshimiwa rais wetu, uongozi ikitoka kwake inakuja mahali kwingine, sio ati izunguke kwa jamii mbili, sijui Mkikuyu, Mkalenjini, Mkikuyu, hapana.
Tena hawana aibu. Hata wakiandikishana watu 100 hawajali. Hawaangaliange nyuma hivi wasome haya, hakuna Kenya hapa. Si mnaona wanatembea wakisema tu kwao. Ingekuwa Mluya wangeanza kusema unaona Waluya ni wakabila. Lakini mimi Mama Dago siku hizi nimejifunza. Kwa sababu ninajua mkiwa na umoja mtatoboa hii Kenya. Watakuja kuwapembeleza hapa. Ile kura mko nayo hata msapereana. Wacha niwaambie leo Waluya. Ile kura mko nayo Western, Wasapere hawana. So wasituringie sana ati hao ndio wanajua kuleta president. Hata sisi tunajua kuleta president. Na lazima tutaonyesha 2027 kwamba tunajua kuleta president. Na kura yetu itahesabika. Na heshima itadumu.
So one question I've been asking, for a leader in the caliber of the Deputy President Kithure Kindiki, Kimani Ichung'wah, majority leader, and the other MPs who are there and coming from Gema region, how do you get the comfort when someone is disparaging a whole community, a community you belong to, and all you sit is to clap and feel comfortable simply because you are eating? Themselves, and I've been saying, I even saw a section of Luo leaders. There was also another camp who were doing this kind of campaign. But it didn't augur well. Now, they're cheering them. Sasa sahi, they're being pushed, someone is pushing them out of that table. And it's because of their fault. Because they actually cheered what looked like really a political bad manners. Kindiki himself was talking in Embu, in Meru today. I just wanted to look at his tone and really whether he has the ground. Sometimes it's also important. He was talking about this and today he's saying that ile 22,000 sasa watatoa. Does Kindiki have the ground? The first blunder was even accepting to take that position. If William Ruto meant that by picking Kindiki, he was fighting corruption in the country, by removing Rigathi, he was fighting corruption in the country, or that tribalism in the country, then I agree with those who say that he ought not to have picked Kindiki, would have picked then someone else. Why are MPs sweating about the running mate slot? Why do you think they're sweating? Because of this. The moment Ruto picks a running mate outside Mount Kenya, the first effect is that he has surrendered the fight for the soul of Mount Kenya. Yes, he has surrendered the fight for the soul of Mount Kenya against Rigathi Gachagua. And that is not an issue. The issue is this. What is the political vehicle that those MPs will use? That will kill the influence of UDA party. Remember, when you have a presidential candidate in the ticket, that is their survival that is their only survival path. Ruto still loves Mount Kenya. Alidanganya, and let me tell you this. The guy will tell them, alinitoa, akatoa pia Kindiki, sasa unaona hatutaki. Really, how will you be able to counter a narrative that Ruto hates Mount Kenya? So it's a big problem for them. Number two, the power sharing formula will clearly disadvantage fellows. And I can tell you, in 2027, Kimani Ichung'wah might not retain his position as the majority leader. Yes. Si sasa simama inabadilika. Yeah, people say, Vice President, wewe nani huku, nani huku. So many, and this is the worry. So many other people will not retain their positions as they may actually wish. Now, the president gamble could actually cost him 2027 elections. Let me tell you, it's a gamble. Huh? Yes, it's actually a gamble. And this is the gamble. You go for Kalonzo, Raila teams up with Matiang'i and Rigathi. And they endorse Matiang'i as the presidential candidate, someone else, probably even a Martha Karua, as the running mate. Do you have, is it still an easy ride? So politicians are fearing for the gamble. The other issue here is there's lack of political infrastructure to face opposition. When the president gives up on Mount Kenya, he will give up on those MPs. And I can tell you, even this money now, this is being spent on some economic forums, might not be there. And MPs will even lack money to go and hoodwink the people, because if the ground is hostile, then you must look you need the state infrastructure. And when they miss the state infrastructure, they're going to be swept by the opposition. Thank you.